of them. Here we are again, mate. I am making a video, by the way, but I'm just taking my time and kind of longing it. I need to get footage as well for 2 more things and then I'm done. It's just like there's going to be like loads of different episodes, but I'm just doing the first episode. The other episodes will be a little bit harder, but this one's a bit... Anyway, the point is that I'm making a video, but I just actually given you a video of me saying something right now, because obviously it's been a bit of time since I've uploaded, and yeah, it's fucking raining. I don't know how I'm gonna smoke this, but spoke to the weed guy today actually, and told him that I can just easily get to his house, because every time I ring him, yeah, he always says he ain't about, but it's because he thinks he wants me to go to town, when I would happily ride my bike to his house, like, and it's on the way from the train station, so it's not even that deep. I have to pass his house in order to get to town when I meet him, but he wasn't realising that. He's just thinking that I had to meet him in town. I'm feeling good, mate. I'm feeling alright. It's been a bit like ugh, but I'm alright overall. I've been really wanting to do things, which is what struck up this whole making an edited video thing, because yeah, man, just I'm fully aware that I can do great things, mate. I have the tools and the capability to fucking engage and fucking, you know what I mean, move forward, as it were, for want of a better word. But it's just one of them ones. And then it's a case of like making sure I focus my mind on just being steady and like doing things that's like mundane and hard. Not hard, but like where you have to focus and like actually put your mind to, rather than just doing things that are temporary to fulfill that moment in time. But that moment in time is just as important. And you're losing out, and it's like, okay, fine, you know, if you do this and put in this amount of work, then you'll get this amount of benefits, whether that be money, accommodation, more travel, like an opportunity, like whatever it may be that you're into. But I don't know, it's just so fucking boring, mate, because I get myself all hyped up here and be like, yep, and then it's like, it's always the same, like it's the same. So it's like, stop doing the same things expecting a different outcome. Like, what? Like, and I laugh, but it sends me mad, mate. Like, literally, it sends me mad. But yet here I am, still doing it. Well, I haven't been, that's the point, but it's just like that notion of like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and blah blah. And I do these things, yeah, but then it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you've done it, now what? Like, it's not really a thing, like, does it even really exist? Or literally, does it even really exist? Because you've created your own day, right? So if you can create your own day, then why can I not create it in a way that's that high level? And balancing being true to yourself and sticking to your core beliefs and values versus succeeding, in quotes, because success is relative, but succeeding and having what you want, but then obviously you lose a part of yourself and you're not true to yourself and you're lying to yourself in order to get to where you want to be. And then you can obviously do what you want to do, but then you'll be doing it, but then I don't know, maybe as a fraud, because the intentions and the initial feelings that you felt, and yeah, sure, there's going to be things that the point is I don't want to conform. And therefore you lose out. So it's like, do you know what I mean, adjust who you are and change so you can fit in, and then obviously move forward really easily, or move in life really easily, but then that's only because you've had to give away your soul. So you can have everything, yeah, but then it's at a cost of you, your actual inner being. Whereas you can say, no, fuck it, which is what I do at the moment. But then obviously you suffer, in quotes, because you have all these tools and resources which you could be utilising, but you don't. Because the present moment and being in control of your day, to a certain extent, because obviously once physics kicks in, like, you can't really, do you know what I mean, some things just are, like, do you know what I mean, the sun will rise, it's like the sun will go down, like, there's some things you cannot control, but I also, yeah, been watching some of my videos, old videos that is, real old videos from like 2009, 2010, 11, 12, but yeah, some of them are on YouTube, some of them are not, but fast forward into like the videos 2014, 15, 16, like, I don't know, my attitude towards life and perception of how things are is very, like, I don't know, it's a bit, it's different, it's very different from how I'm thinking now, which I suppose is why the videos has suffered. And that comes into that whole having purpose within yourself, that is, not for other people's perspective, but for you to go out and know that you're going out, and if you're doing something, you're doing it with purpose, like. So I think, yeah, that as well has sort of altered my mindset, but overall, I don't know what it was that made me sort of change my mindset. and then I overthink it, and I get into this mindset of like, oh, fine, let's live in the moment. But then it's just like boring again because it's like no, it's just like just wanting that next sort of rush, that next high. Do you know what I mean? It's just like so what's it gonna be next? Like where's the next buzz gonna come from? Like, and I get there are low points, but yeah, I don't know. There's no buzz in just fucking. Oh. Oh. Kicked up the whole fucking I'm gonna travel argument again with myself, and it's like because you can get some cheap flights to countries, yeah, cheap flights, like if you're going like Ryanair and all of this, yeah, I know they're dog shite. I've flown Ryanair before and it is bad, and they just literally charge you for everything. Like they'll charge you for oxygen if they could, like seriously. But mate, you go, you land, like you check it out, like you see what I want, like you have a mad time, like you do mad things, but and then you like, do you know what I mean? Then you're like, oh fuck, why did I do this? Blah blah blah. But then I don't know. There's just something about it. There's just something about it that's just like, okay, yeah. There's just shitty times sometimes, or there's parts of the trip that may be shit, but it's like overall, just that whole point of just, do you know what I mean? But then again, this is where you think about it another way, because I'm now thinking on the worldly terms now, where you just sort of hopping from country to country, which isn't easy, but it's doable, right? And like before that, it's a case of you're just glad if you can go to the next town if you've got issues locally. Like, do you know what I mean? And this happens to me a lot, like when I have legal problems and problems with the old bill and things like that, and court cases, because I always like get myself into this mindset of like, oh, do you know what I mean? The last meal, the last this, and I appreciate everything. My senses are heightened. Like, if dickheads come up to me, I just don't speak to them. Like, if someone fucking just chatting shit, or do you know what I mean? They just like messing you about, like small things, like whether it be friendships, relationships, personal situations, like if someone's just like fucking with you or just not being straight with you, rather than letting it bug you, I'm just like, okay, fine, fuck you. Who's next? Like, what's the next? Do you know what I mean? I just so happy and grateful up until that court date. Like, do you know what I mean? Everything I do, like if I pick up weed, I like sit down, smoke it. Like, do you know what I mean? Go out, socialize, only speak to good people. Like, but why can you not do that all the time? Like, why does there have to be pressure? Like, why does there have to be pressure? And it's always with, it's not always with the justice system. There's other things as well when I've been out, especially sleeping out in the cold and in the snow in the Netherlands. That was grim. That was a harsh 3 weeks, and I ended up getting so sick at the end of it. Like, literally so sick, just being outside and just my chest and just everything was just like, ugh. It was like even if, yeah, I'm in a hard situation, and I'm just like, okay, fine, fuck it. I've just come here. I've not booked anything. So I mean, I'm running low on money or have no money at all. So you're like, fuck it, you just do an overnight or a couple of times. But in the coldness, yeah, it's just like, it's actually painful. Like, it is painful. It is literally the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life. Literally those 3 weeks, like, oh, So when you think about things like that, you're just like, oh, if only I could just have a little bit of warmth, or like, do you know what I mean? A little bit of something, or this, and then you appreciate it when you get it. Like, do you know what I mean? If you go into a bed, like you're like, ah, a bed, and you sleep the best you've ever slept. Like, if you have the internet, like, you make sure like you do like loads of shit like that's productive. Do you know what I mean? But otherwise, or if you have electricity, do you know what I mean? But otherwise, yeah. But it's always with, and even now with my fitness, for example, I've been trying to get my fitness up, go out on my bike, do the old push-ups, just get my fitness up. Like, do you know what I mean? Just being able to hold my own weight and just fucking be strong, like literally be strong. And then the example of that is obviously the prison situation, because like I thought, oh no, I'm gonna be without weed, this, it's gonna be terrible, and how am I gonna manage, and this. But like it was fine, like it was fine. Fitness every single day, like all the time, constantly. But again, why does it have to be in that forced environment where my brain kicks in this like fucking beast mode? Like, why is it always in those situations where you're just like, that's where you? Because if you just give it like that 110% every single day, just on a normal average day, and when you're feeling good already, and you've got everything you need, you've like literally you're 1,000%. It's like 1,000% more likely to work out for you, and for you to be progressive and successful and achieve what you want to achieve and more in a short amount of time, because you've just smashed it like constantly. And that's when it comes back to doing things that's just okay, yeah, there's not much stimulant to your brain when you're doing those activities, but at the end of it, like that relief and that wave of, do you know what I mean, that rush that you've managed to get that. Especially with the fitness, that was a really weird example of things, because obviously I know what I'm capable of, and I've worked, and I've gotten up early, do you know what I mean? There's things like that as well, watching your videos and looking at my overnights, and do you know what I mean, 6 days in a row doing overnights, and then you have a break, and then you got a day shift, and then, do you know what I mean, sometimes you're working 3 shows in a day, and it's like, fuck, like, and I would still do that now, I still, do you know what I mean, but it's just like, I don't know, like, how, because it's like, fuck me. So I know what I'm capable of, and I know I'm able to do those things, but it's just in that forced environment, you just like excel more. And it's weird to think that like you'd become more mentally stable and fitter in a prison than you would. And yes, this is not all prisons. You've got to be mindful of that. I was in the Netherlands, which is like premier inn for criminals, so it's the maybe like a textbook perfect utopia example of how prison should be, and actually achieving that and being a product of that system. But obviously in countries like England, that's just an ideal to have. It's not an actual fact that would be able to be implemented, because everyone's so fucking rotten. But yeah, that feeling like just like waking up, and like even now I'm starting to work in over time, like under 2 minutes of push-ups. I want to be able to do at least 50, at least 50. But really, you want to be doing between 70 and 100 in under 2 minutes. 2 minutes under, best effort, basically. But yeah, at the moment, I'm only on 30 push-ups, which is okay, like that's reasonable, but yeah, you want to be able to just, yeah, just smash them out like it's nothing, without all the huffing and puffing and shaky arms. But yeah, they're just examples, but it's just like you could apply it to anything in my life really. That's just like, that's why I said at the beginning, having the tools and resources and the know-how to do what you need to do, but not doing it. Like, okay, think of it this way. Let's take it Bushman style, right? It's like having a knife, right, and a pile of wood, all prepared, or not prepared, but just like branches, logs, and trees. But you have to prepare it and like batten the wood and just like, do you know what I mean? Start the fire, and obviously everything's there set out. Or you could just sit there and be cold with all the stuff you need right next to you, but you just don't do it. And that's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? All the things you need to start the fire is right there. Why would you not just make the fire? 10 minutes, it's done, and then you'd be warm for the whole night. Like, why would you not just do that? Like, why would you leave it there and then say you're cold? Like, this is another thing, yeah. I roll too many spliffs. That's another thing. I roll too many spliffs, and it just you just list all the problems. Like, literally, list all the problems, but don't fucking do nothing about it. But literally, and I don't like being a hypocrite, mate. I don't like being a hypocrite because obviously I like to do like a lot of talking and preach. But it's like fucking in my own personal life there is these issues, but then at the same time it's like I do not have all the fucking answers, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? There's always another level, and that's the point of there is no answers. Like, there is no answers. And like, obviously at the moment, like, it's been weird actually. I've met a few people randomly on my travels, and it's been always leaning to sort of like the Muslim sort of Islam and everything else, but that always comes up. And I mean, I'm not religious at all. I'm not religious, but I am logical, and I'm open to the concept of religion. And people believe whatever they want to believe in it. Like, it is what it is. It's been going on for thousands of years. So I don't see how it's changing it now. But yeah, it's a case of for me, I've always thought the Muslims have obviously done bits, but and the Sikhs as well, mainly for the food, not necessarily the religion, but with the Muslims, the religion as well, just because it's very logical. And the people that I meet, like proper Muslims, they're very like strict and like disciplined people, but also very nice and compassionate. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that strictness and discipline is taken for like misconceived. I feel it's misconceived in terms of household values and how people should act, and it's taken to the extreme, and it can be open for abuse if you have a structure like that. But at the same time, it's very good and it works. Like, it's not like it doesn't work. It's just that small percentage that is obviously gonna fucking fuck it up for everyone else. Do you know what I mean? And that's the world over. I think we've all faced that. at one point in our life where we've done something and then we can't do it anymore because one person fucked it up for everyone else. Like, so yeah. But otherwise, yeah, that's just been something and that's a bit weird. But I'm not going to be converted anytime soon, mate. I'm not going to be running to anything. But the reason I bring it up is because the answers, and it's like whenever I have conversations like this or I talk to people, they always say to me, well, what is the answer then? What's the answer? Do you know what I mean? As if I can fucking... Well, no, there's two ways that it can be asked. They can be asked as what's the answer in terms of getting my opinion on the world because of the travel and the mad stories. Or there could be the religion aspect where you always know it's coming when what is the answer? And they catch you out, they try and catch you out. And you know they're trying to catch you out because regardless of what story that you tell them, even if they haven't experienced it and they know that it's pretty far-fetched and far out, that, do you know what I mean? They wouldn't have done it. They'll always go, yeah, but God. Do you know what I mean? God. That's always their trump card with those sort of people, like, talk about travels, like. But, yeah, I don't know, mate. There's certain things that I believe, right? And there's certain things that are in different books, right? In terms of religious books, like Bible, Quran, things like that, right? But there are certain things which can be proven and that are facts, right? They're facts. But then there's other things which is open to manipulation. And it's not to say that it's any less true, but it's just that it's open to manipulation, so therefore the people that are saying it are human beings. And whenever these books would have been written or the scripts would have been like found or whatever, it would have been like so many years ago, which is just like beyond what we fucking see. It's not very trustworthy as far as I'm concerned. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't live your life by something that was written thousands of years ago. It just, they was thinking differently then. They didn't have any. I mean, it's not to say that we're now suddenly better than them and they didn't know, because they probably did know more, because health and safety and the restriction of information, like, there's so many things that we can't discover just because we're stopped through regulation and government and this and this. But, like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm open to the concept, and like I say, you believe whatever you want to believe, but for me, it's just like, yeah, people try and convert me, mate. Like, they always bring it back to religion, and it's like, it's not a religious thing, mate. Because you can completely live without any religion, and you can still make it to that after place, as it were, if there is such a thing. But obviously, I'm a man of logic, so scientifically, your energy has to go somewhere. Like, okay, yeah, your body and your flesh rots, but your spirit and your soul that makes you who you are as a person, like, in your core, like, no matter what you look like, even if you used to put on fancy dress, you'd still be you. Even on the outside, you look different, like, you'd still anyway, the point is, your energy is going to go somewhere, right? And that's who you are, right? And then that's where it's open to spirits and blah 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 and extraterrestrial and all of that sort of shit. But for me, that's just a rabbit hole. That's a rabbit hole. But for me, yeah. So I can reason with those sort of people. But if you're gonna jump off in at the deep end and just start being all mad and crazy and just being human and not, do you know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes a mockery of the whole thing, and it puts a lot of people off. Do you know what I mean? And it creates division in itself. So I don't know. But like I said, you believe what you want to believe, mate. You believe what you want to believe. That's what gets you through then. That's what gets you through. Anyway, I'm going to roll another spliff. A celebratory spliff. I always like to roll quite a few spliffs when I've just picked up, because it's just like, well, you can, can't you? Because it's like you've just picked up, so why not? So I've got some orange juice, right? And it's actually really nice. It's proper orange juice. But actual orange juice, so, I don't know. the type of orange juice you get in Spain at the market. Anyway, if I could get with another split. And obviously, it will be the only reason. This is a thing, yeah. I just go on and 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 on. But there's so many different avenues. Like, there's just so many different avenues, and it's not a case of like, it don't matter, mate, don't matter. And then let's jump back to religion quickly. This is why people say, oh, get a religion and blah blah blah, be a Muslim and all of this. It's like, no, bruv, like, it's not about religion, it's about being at one with yourself and having purpose. And yeah, I get it, some people think that's God, but it's not. It's the fucking earth and the universe and fucking whatever it is up there, because there is something, like there is something, but that is what it is. It's not about just, because that's the only reason. This is what I bring it back to modern day. Yeah, I could easily say to myself, right, okay, you're gonna knuckle down, right, give yourself what, 6 months, a year, whatever, but put a time frame on it so you know you have something to work towards, and by this time this is what you must have accomplished. But I would only be doing it, yeah, for money. Now this, hear me out, people would say to me, oh, now this is all different, like, genres of people, so it's not just like one person has said this to me. It's like, because I like to listen to other people that have got more knowledge than I do, right? And they would say to you, don't think of it as a money thing, yeah? Just think of it as like, you'll be doing something, yeah, but you'll be able to get money, then you'll be able to invest that money, and then you'll be able to have things that's yours, they'll actually be yours, and that will make you money. And then you can sit and do nothing, because money will just be coming into you, right? Which is a good strategy. That's business, right? And that's, yeah, invest. But why? Like, why? Okay, yeah, okay, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have a house. It'll be nice to have a car. It'll be nice to, do you know what I mean? It would be nice to just be, because another thing is like, because they'll be like, what would you want to do? Because I'm not really fussed about all of that. I like to travel. So they'll be like, yeah, but you could just travel anywhere and you could do anything and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, but I do that already. Like, I do that already. And it's like, okay, yeah, it'll be nice to be able to say, right, I'm gonna travel here and be able to book a flight directly to that place. Wouldn't have to skip any trains, wouldn't have to hitchhike, wouldn't have to walk, wouldn't have to, do you know what I mean? Wouldn't have to sleep outside, wouldn't have to do any of those things. You just go straight there. Then you'd be able to book accommodation straight away. You could book yourself at a reasonable standard place. You wouldn't have to think about finances or just having shelter. You'd actually be able to have material things that come with that. And yes, okay, fine, it is nice to stay in hotels. Now, I've stayed in fancy hotels, and it's nice that you have someone at the desk and they call up to your room and things can be brought to your room. And if you're living there for a long time basis, then that's nice. Like, do you know what I mean? It is luxurious. But at the same time, to live like that for me all the time is just, I don't know, it's not real. That's not real. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, but then you'll sit there psychologically, and it's what I mean. These are the psychopaths that are fucking concocting all this fucking shite, mate. And it's like they're demons, like they're demons. And then this is where we get into the fucking religion point again, because in modern day, this is fucking. It's not. Do you know what I mean? And houses originally were created for the banks. It wasn't even. We was all living in huts, bro. Like, search up England, yeah. Back in the day, where it was fucking everyone was fucking doing bushcraft. It was fucking the law that you had to learn fucking archery. I think it might even still be the law, but obviously it's not enforced and it's kind of done away with. But up at like, if you're 12, like at the age of 12, you have to learn archery. Like, everyone must know archery. Like, every boy, that is, every boy must know archery from the age of 12. Like, think about that. Like, do you know what I mean? Because we was naturally, but then the banks come along and they're like, we need something to fucking make money exist. So what can we do? I know, we'll build houses and say that you have to pay money to, and that's how it invented. But like, do you know what I mean? It's like fucking, it's a fucking scam, bro. And I know it looks nice and da 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 da. And obviously, I'll go to Africa, yeah, and they'll just be like, oh, why are you coming here? But not in a bad way, but like, why would you leave England? It's so good, and blah, blah, blah. And yes, okay, fine, you can come here, you can make money, we've got jobs, da, da. But the quality of life, bro, I told you this before, it ain't all that. And it ain't nothing to do with religion, bro. I'm telling you, it's nothing to do with religion. You can't buy my life, mate. You can't buy my life. Like, you could not, right now, yeah, say for example, you've got a guy, yeah, that said, I'm going to give you, like, you couldn't. This is what I'm saying. Okay, say 10 million, you could not buy my life. Like, you couldn't buy my life. Like, you couldn't do it. Like, not even, like, I don't know, you just couldn't buy, like, the experiences and the feelings that come with that. Sure, you could do those things. Like, do you know what I mean? You could pay to go to places, but that's different. It's different. Like, if you pay to go somewhere, it's completely different than in being invited somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Or ending up somewhere, or being forcibly taken somewhere. In some cases. Hmm. And yeah, from a human standpoint, yeah, and a business mindset, you gotta wake up early, no sleeping. Like, you gotta wake up, and I do agree with that. Like, waking up early, I'm dreadful for waking up, like, of a reasonable time and staying awake through daylight hours. I'm more like to be awake during nighttime hours, but yeah, that's a human thing. I just don't like humans. But I'm sure if I was in the bush now, I would be, do you know what I mean, waking up at around 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and continuing, like, do you know what I mean, on until sort of 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, for the business mindset, like, you wake up early, and again, that whole 8 hours sleep, like, designed to obviously stop people from working. Like, it was designed to stop people from working. Like, to say, right, everything, all trade must cut off, because otherwise, if you have trade all night long, like, people will just be earning money all night long, and then it'll just be booming economy, and they'll be, do you know what I mean, everyone will just be rich, so they have to make sure that everyone's distracted and suppressed, and like, do you know what I mean, sit down, watch films, eat food, do this, do that, play video games, go on social media. They need distractions to keep the people so they're not actually focused on getting their shit done, otherwise everyone would just be, do you know what I mean, building their own society basically. And that's how it was before. Everyone had their own brain and would build their own little communes and shit. and it works. Like, it works. Okay, fair enough. No one wants to fucking live in a fucking mud hut all the time. Do you know what I mean? It is nice to fucking have running water and things like that, but ultimately, we can survive. If we have to really strip it down, like, we will be alright, like, without all the fucking, the fancy shit. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist. And that comes on to the point of, if you're really convicted about it and you have conviction, like, when you die, like, you can't take it with you. Like, and that's another thing. Like, I had a mate, yeah, that I worked with in security, right? And on the side, he worked in banking, but on the side he would do security. But he was leaving banking, and he wanted to go into security. And we was working a door, and I was chatting to him, and he said his job was to work in, what do they call it? Um, Money. It's not money. It's, what do they call your wealth distribution something. But basically, when people die and they're rich, his job was to, what are they going to do with his bank account, what are they going to do with his money, what are they going to do with his houses, all of his property. Like, it's down to the bank, like, especially if it's all like financially owned, like, do you know what I mean, and you paid for it. Like, it's, yeah, what do you do with all that money? And like, same people that just die with money. And there's some cases where you just have old people and they just got a nice house, a stately home, and all of this, and they've just never been used, never. Do you know what I mean? It's just there, and then they've had money, they've had an alright life, obviously, but they haven't really had anyone, not much family, and it's just like, what do you do with that? Just like, and now they're dead, like, and all that money they didn't spend it. They didn't spend it on anything. They had a really frugal life. Like, what do you do with all of that? Like, so for me, like, we had a proper deep conversation about it, because it took it on another level of money and what does it all mean and blah blah. And because he'd done so much of it and worked with it, he was just like, pff, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like if I won the lottery, like, I'd just do what I wanted to do with it, and that's it, because it doesn't mean anything. You can't take it with you. Like, you cannot take it with you. Like, all of this material stuff and how you look and blah blah blah. Your body is a host, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter. Sure, you can get buried in your swagged out trainers, but the afterlife, mate, when it's all said and done, what are you taking with you? Like I said, your energy, your soul, your actual spirit, your inner core, all of this stuff in the flesh and all of this stuff around you, that ain't coming with you. It's just you, your core. And that's where the whole religion again does come into play, because obviously the Muslims are very, like, strict on, like, the self-discipline and being accountable and praying and all of that, and that's why it's important for them, because yeah, you got you're just only responsible for yourself and your soul and your core. It's not about all of the material stuff. Like, just, do you know what I mean? It's just you and you alone. And that's again with the whole confusion of, oh, they, yeah, but they support terrorism and blah blah blah. And that's another scam. They tried so hard, like, their very best to, like, tarnish the religion, but it's just not working. It's quite funny. Anyway, but with that, it's just like, again, it's not that they support it, it's just that they know what they have to do. They know what's right and wrong. Do you know what I mean? If they see someone that needs help, they'll help them. But at the same time, like, they're not supporting the action, because they know they've got to answer to that. You've got to answer to your own self. Like, you right now have got to answer to yourself. Like, I can't be telling you all of this even now. Like, you've still got to, it doesn't matter what I'm telling you, whether you agree with me or not. Like, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we all individually have to answer for everything that we've said and everything that we've done, in the name of our actions, of what we thought was right and what we thought was justified. So, don't matter, mate. Like, it just doesn't matter. It matters, but just, we're just on the earth, mate. Like, literally, we're just on the earth, and we're just like a little speck, like a little tiny speck. Like, we're not even. But we think we're so big, and oh yeah, it's so strong. But there's so many forces at play that's just so greater than us. That's just you wouldn't even be able to fathom it. Hey. what it is, mate. It is what it is. But back to the flights. The flights are going cheap, bro, and there's still countries that you can fly to without the fucking passport. I'm not without the passport, without the fucking jab, mate. Like, literally, there's still countries that you can go to, and some countries will allow you if you've just had a test, a PCR test or a COVID test or both, but most of the time a PCR test, because that's a border crossing airport thing rather than a it's like an international thing rather than a local thing. But sometimes you have to have a NHS or a local medical one and a PCR, but a PCR is about £130. I mean, it varies, but yeah, it's quite a lot. And if you're crossing a lot of borders and you're landing in a lot of airports, that's a lot of money before your flights. So you save money on the flights, but then you've got to pay £130 for a PCR. So that's why if you go to a country where you don't need a PCR, you're just paying for the flight. And at the moment, I'm getting flights for £16, bro. And it's just so tempting. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Sorry for longing it. I'll say I'm not gonna long it, but I probably would end up longing it. I should just make videos. Sorry, so yeah, I should just make videos. But this is just coming to my mind now. It hasn't come into my mind. It's been in my mind, but I just decided to make a video on it because it's always in my mind. So it's not like it's effort for me to speak about. It's a real turning point. But it's like being on a diving board and the pool's right there. Just gotta dive in and swim. Don't be standing up there for too long. It's like the world. Just keep on spinning. So don't be, do you know what I mean? You're making all these, do you know what I mean, plans of the world, but then it's always changing, bro. So it's just, this is what I mean about the human brain. Just, yeah, it's obsolete. It's not obsolete, it's very powerful. I'm not trying to disrespect the human brain, but like literally, it's a marvel of bioengineering, but yeah. It'll be, I'm just deep in it, mate. It'll be what it will be, literally. Anyway, safe for watching, and yeah, stay blessed, stay lean, and peace.